Hello everyone, I'm Bad at Hell 24 and welcome back to some more Pixar Theory No. 2 by the Theorizer. Getting very close to the Baby Spinny Theory. We're on the Incredibles 2 theory. Why the true villain of Incredibles 2 is still hidden. This is obviously Theory on Incredibles 2. It's probably gonna rehash some of the stuff from the Incredibles 1 theory, or this Incredibles 1 theory right here is still going to rehash everything from the Incredibles 1 and this theory, I don't know. But it's probably going to rehash things from the Incredibles 1 theory and kind of just expand on them. And obviously, of course, the Baby Spinny theory is going to expand on everything, kind of tie together everything in this playlist. So, it's going to be crazy and it's going to be wild. Like I said, you're going to want to follow my Twitch because we're going to be rewatching this playlist on stream, and then we're gonna react to the Baby Spinny Theory live because it's gonna be awesome. I want to do this in a live event because it's gonna be just that mind-blowing. It's gonna be amazing. But for now, why the true villain of Incredibles 2 was still hidden theory by the one and only the Theorizer.
The Incredibles 2 is the awesome sequel to the first Incredibles movie, and I haven't seen it. So, since earlier this year I finished my trilogy of theories where I analyzed and solved syndromes past from the first movie, this time I'm going to look into the second movie. So spoilers, because I'm going to try and answer questions nobody has thought to ask about this movie's shady villains.
I have never seen this movie, by the way, so this is going to be completely new to me. It's going to be new lore and new theories that I don't know about. So I won't be able to comment as much as, say, like, The Monsters Inc. or The Incredibles 1, because I have not The Incredibles 2. However, once we get to this final Incredibles 1 theory, I'm going to be able to talk about it quite a bit, because I have seen Incredibles 1, albeit it hasn't been, I haven't seen it in a while, like years, but I have seen it, so the knowledge for the movie is still in there, but Incredibles 2, I have no knowledge of. Maybe I should watch Incredibles 2, I don't know.
Hello, I'm the Theorizer.
Hello.
Little Miss Evil Endeavor over here has a shady little plan that extends far beyond our knowledge base of things. I think some pretty drastically epic things sometimes, and this is no exception, because I think good guy Winston knows some things. I'm not even going to hesitate in getting straight into this, because I have a theory that the whole Screenslaver character was partially his idea. I'll explain why in a minute, but basically his whole plan to bring supers into the limelight needs a catalyst, and the big new villain is obviously the best way. What he didn't know was that Evelyn continued to be the Screenslaver and used it to her grander.
So, I think the idea of this movie was that it focuses more on Elastigirl instead of Mr. Incredible. Like I said, I haven't seen Incredibles 2 at all, but I've heard that it's really good. I should watch it at some point, but I didn't watch it before this, so I'm going to be very confused on everything that's happening here. But I should be good. Should be fine, because he'll probably do a good explanation of things in the movie and stuff like that, which is why he said that I didn't have to watch the All Hail King Julian series to get the Mort theory, which, by the way, I will be doing. Kind of need to say this again. I will be doing the Mort theory at some point. I just gotta get through a couple of these other videos, and then we're good. There's a couple other videos that were in my sights for a while, namely the Mort theory, and a couple other videos that I need to react to, but the Mort theory will be reacted to in due time. So, yeah.
Plan. I seriously doubt he knew of her super mega planning, though. As Evelyn says, Winston would likely try to sell the hypnosis tech. Also, he asks what Evelyn has done when she hypnotized the people on the boat. I do think he knew about her tech a little bit, but again, I'll explain in a minute. Most of this is all observed in his sheer reactions throughout the movie. They aren't nearly as shocked as they should be. His reaction to her imprisonment, it's so freaking nonchalant. Now, I'm not saying he knew everything, I'm just suggesting
Love the way that you said that.
I could tell something was always kind of up with his sister's plans. And this should be obvious based off of his very superficial reactions throughout the movie, but how deep does his knowledge truly go? And was he also behind the publicity stunt that was the Screenslaver. So Evelyn, despite her hatred of supers, honestly liked Elastigirl a bit, and her plan was clearly to control Helen without Helen figuring anything out. She did like her. The only problem, of course, is Helen's clever intuition, but here's where things sort of fall apart for me. It's not like Evelyn was even trying all that hard to conceal her evil. It's basically like she wanted to be found and knew it was inevitable. She's so cautious, but she makes enormous logical mistakes, like how would the Screenslaver know Elastigirl specifically would magically return into the spotlight? How would the Screenslaver know to give such tailored messages to her, like on the train monitor? This is all...
Like I said, I haven't seen this movie, but that's interesting. A character that presumably doesn't really know Elastigirl that well is sending her tailored messages and specifically talking to her as if this character knew that she would come back. Kind of weird, because and again, I'm just going off of observations from this video alone. It's kind of weird that someone that is supposedly a villain who is just now noticing Elastigirl would already know Elastigirl. Because it sounds to me that this villain that isn't supposed to know her is someone that already does know her. Which would make sense that this Evelyn character would be this Screenslayer, because she knows Helen, she knows Elastigirl.
Easy stuff for an average person to figure out, and that it would lead back to the DEAVORS, but Evelyn makes these huge mistakes, and the bizarre computer one is where Elastigirl figures it out. Even Helen comments on the laziness, but same elaborateness of the Screenslaver. The Screenslaver act basically was, as the movie says, very smart, but easy to discover, and this same thing applies to Evelyn herself, and she acknowledges it. She's just too smart to be stupid. I mean, she allowed the Screenslaver's screen to be tuned in to Elastigirl's suit cam. That isn't something she needed to do. It's actually a flat-out hindrance, and it's very intentional. It's like she casually wanted to be discovered, is my point here. And
I mean, who would go out of the way to do something as specific as planting something into Elastigirl's very own suit? Like, come on, like, you didn't have to do that. Like, you didn't really have to make it so that she could see it in her own suit, but she wanted to. Like Theorizer said, she wanted Elastigirl to know that, look, she is the Screenslaver.
Actions are the same kind of nonchalant extreme. He doesn't even question, and neither does Elastigirl, how the police knew suspicious activity was going on before the train derailed. Yeah, from like the police scanner. Hold on, yes. How would the police know about the Screenslaver's suspicious activity prior to the monorail if it was all via remote hacking? It's like it's all staged by these two, particularly Winston.
Would make sense if that was all staged.
He loves staging things and bringing things back for nostalgia. Now, I don't know if the police were actors or hypnotized, but it doesn't matter at all, because this isn't even an evidence point, it's just an additional tangent. It's one of those things where you have to look at the characters' reactions, because Pixar does control every facial aspect of these guys. He kind of creepily and fakely smiled as he gave Elastigirl the Screenslaver's mask as a memento, like he always had the power, and now he's giving her the result of their super problem.
Yeah, Pixar does have the power to create like all of these faces. And even though it doesn't explicitly say what Theorizer is saying, the expressions on the characters' faces say more than any words could do. Like, the expressions tell all in this case. It isn't the words that a person says. It's the expressions that the person makes that will tell you, you know, maybe this guy knew that someone would come along and be like, oh, hey, you know, I'll give you the Screenslaver's mask.
Propaganda. And again, his lack of any shock when Evelyn is revealed It is astonishing. He doesn't want to believe it, and he masks it with unbearable charisma, but he knows it. He knows it.
Yeah, he was probably like, oh my god, Evelyn's the screenslaver, oh my god. Like, he's feigning this kind of, like, surprise, like, oh my god. Like, Evelyn's the screen... He knew. He fucking knew. You and Evelyn are working together for some reason. Again, never watched Incredibles 2, only going off of things based off of this video. After watching this video, I will probably watch Incredibles 2. But that'll be on a Breach TV. That'll be on Breach TV, probably.
The tech, and it clicks for him when he understands her plan near the end, when he says a very oddly worded statement.
Also, I hope that the audio is fixed. I know that so many of the comments did say that that the levels were a bit weird. That the video was too low, and me talking over it, you couldn't hear the video. Hopefully this is good now. Because here, I'll just talk over the video and see if it works.
If they both knew
I don't know if it'll work.
that she could have done. He knows she's suspect. He is very clearly aware of the screenslaver's falseness. That's not all. On the yacht, when she takes him, he asks where the others are, and she casually just says, still hypnotized.
Screensaver sounds like a Max Headroom.
He follows it up by asking the what did you do, which means he does know of the hypnosis tech. And I mean, of course he knows about the technology because he knew about the screenslaver's weapons, but what I mean is that he instantly attributes it to Evelyn, as opposed to thinking the screenslaver was just never caught or something like that, because he knows. And that's the big reaction that makes no sense. Without even saying any more, he just jumps out of the plane and leaves her without asking what she'd even done. He knew, because he was a part of the scheme to use the screenslaver. He knew it was Evelyn's hypnotech, but then he says things like, did you make them new masks? Which means there are still parts of her plan he doesn't know about. It, oddly, in a very intuition-based way, comes together. He figured this out immediately, and she basically stopped trying to save him from the boat crash. A crazy woman. Evelyn has an almost set plan prior to...
I'd be able to talk more about this if I knew Incredibles 2.
She kind of just screams out random phase numbers to her minions without any of her set phases or plans seeming to change after Elastigirl's dehypnotization. It's like she expected them to be saved, but she still looks distraught. Insanity is genius, Evelyn. As does that apply, possibly, to the eternal child of extroverted feeling that is Winston Dever over here, Mr. Undying Charisma in the face of abject
Mr. Winston, aka you fucking knew that it was Evelyn all along, and you worked with her to do evil shit, you know?
They lie! Violet says Evelyn probably won't get a...
Fucking character that is most likely already good and turns out to be bad because of theories, you know. It's the kind of character that seems like he's all happy and he's the hero, but if you really delve deep into the movie and you look at words and expressions and you nitpick everything, like the Theorizer is doing, which is a good thing, you will see that this character is actually bad. And I think that's what happened with Mr. Winston over here and Miss Evelyn, the Devers, or evil endeavors, you know. I don't know. They were probably like, oh, you know, they were probably good characters, but then Theorizer like, nah. You see all this shit that I'm talking about? Facial expressions, looking at different details of it. They're fucking evil. Bruh.
Serious prison sentence.
This is the kind of shit that I like.
And Winston
I love these theories.
Passive-aggressive charisma, as if to imply that, yeah, he'll bail her out promptly. He says he has a good feeling about the supers near the movie's end, and even Frozone is all like, should I be worried? Evelyn's ultimately fine with everyone figuring out that she's evil, but she blatantly lies to Elastigirl about Winston's involvement, claiming Winston would market the hypnosis as a fairly good excuse for his very subliminal actions.
Bullshit. That's a load of bull. You're lying to cover his ass.
He doesn't want his creation of the screenslaver to imprison him, not out of care or love, but so that when she goes to jail, he'll be innocent enough to debate her freedom. More on that in a second. Screenslaver is all stunt work and acting, with a real person in the mix. Telecommunication controls what you see. The DEAVORS did this as a publicity stunt to give Elastigirl a reason to be able to come into the spotlight. Evelyn agreed with this so that she could eventually force all these supers who are now in the spotlight to come in like villains and destroy everything.
So they basically staged everything to get Elastigirl into this like super spotlight, to then take control of these supers that are now in the spotlight, because you know.
Yes.
But yeah, like I was saying, sorry, my mom came in here. Like I was saying, what was I saying? Oh yeah, that's right. They staged everything to get all these supers into the spotlight, because, you know, if you create havoc, there's gonna be supers that will want to save the world. And lo and behold, these supers come into the spotlight and be like, oh hey, we're beating up bad guys. All of a sudden, you flip the switch. You can control them. So now the supers that are in the spotlight now become the villains. Miss Evelyn and Mr. Winston, you guys are fucking geniuses for that.
Etc. Minor villains like the Underminer and basic burglars definitely aren't enough and are rare as it is,
Yeah.
so they created a super villain. Easy. Evelyn
Of
just
course.
took it way too far, and Winston is covering it up very casually. The pizza guy acting as the screenslaver was only used at the very end when Elastigirl caught him. Everything else was Evelyn. Everything. Elastigirl honestly should have figured out the DEAVORS sooner, as the message did literally say, "Welcome back, Elastigirl."
Yeah.
It was her test, and nobody else knew of her return to be. In fact, I'm pretty sure Evelyn tried so hard to save Winston from the conspiracy that they both knew about, because again, if he was arrested too, then nobody would bail them out of prison and argue
Yeah.
their release.
So, she's saying that Winston didn't know. So that when she does go to jail, Winston can basically just plead that she's innocent. And just make up a lie and say that she had nothing to do with it. And then get her out of jail, just like that. Boom, boom, bang. Easy. The DEAVORS are back out there and causing more havoc. You know? Evelyn's a screenslaver, and yeah, she can do more shit.
Shifty. I might even be prompted to say that Winston brought the Underminer into the spotlight too. Dude, Mr. Miner, like seriously, your cliche goal is to undermine peace and happiness and steal a bank. And Winston's right there, by plan, to bring out the supers to fight a villain they used to fight, as Mr. Incredible acknowledges the Underminer. Also, Winston would be able to talk to Frozen. Bingo, boy! And the whole concept of the screenslaver character really seems to be a hindrance to Evelyn's evil plans. The world to her hypnosis, technology, but it just would lead to more suspicion around her. Evelyn used the screenslaver as a distraction that was not needed. Elastigirl had no reason to suspect Evelyn until the screenslaver was caught. It's a needless distraction, unless it's a publicity stunt by Winston that Evelyn had to work around. And it all leads back to her. She wants to be caught, because if she's caught, it will distract away from Winston. And not only that, but she didn't want to go to jail. It's all a big message she's sending about supers. Now everyone has a seed of doubt planted in their mind, and don't trust their screens. So yes, I think Winston was a part of the creation of the screenslaver, but he didn't know about the following madness planned by his sister. This movie's great, and I do have more theories. Here's some cool additional things to think about. The DEAVORS' parents, my biggest questions revolve around them. They were fans of supers, but for some reason they felt the deep need to have multiple direct phone lines to supers and a safe room. Like, are the DEAVORS really that sought after by criminals? What was the message behind the robbers? What was their goal? This is the main thing I've been pondering over since the movie's release to theaters, and in January, I'm going to get out a video explaining it. Don't take my idea, fellow YouTube theorists.
Oh, that's the next video.
Have ties to wanting the illegalization of supers, and there's so much in the beginning scenes of The Incredibles' glory days that point to so much people have yet to analyze. I have the theory I'm making the video after Christmas, soon. I don't think the Dever kids had their father killed or that the father had killed himself, but it is all quite suspicious, since they seem to know everything he did, going up to the phone, getting shot, etc., but they were in the safe room. I think whomever sent the robbers to do whatever they planned to do wanted an evil Evelyn, and I feel like Evelyn doesn't want revenge on supers as much as she does the people who killed Daddy Dever. Illegalization, hence the ambassadors on the boat to kill. So until then, subscribe and click the bell for notifications. Make sure you select all so you'll be notified when the next video comes out, because we aren't done here. Until then, I'm the Theorizer.
And we aren't done just yet, because that is the Incredibles 2 theory. That was actually really good. I didn't know a lot about Incredibles 2, but the theory behind it is pretty fucking cool. Of course, I'm not gonna react to the Incredibles just yet. This video just yet, although this is the last video in the playlist before we get to the giant baby Smitty theory. It's gonna be fucking awesome. You don't want to miss it. You actually do not want to fucking miss it. Twitch.tv/BatmanHell24. And if the Theorizer is watching this, you're gonna want to be there to see it, because it's gonna be awesome. I don't know if anyone's reacted to one of your videos live on stream before, but I'm gonna change that with the baby Smitty theory. So Theorizer, you're gonna want to watch that because it's gonna be fucking awesome. But yeah, that is about it for me here. We have one video left, Pixar Theory number 2, which is the Incredibles True Villain Hidden in Plain Sight. Then we can get to the baby Smitty theory. Until then, I am BatHell24. See you all next time.